How you doing, guys? I want to put this out there real quick. It's an idea that's that I have yet to go about building, but I've thought about this for 2 years now. It's a homemade relay made out of brass. It looks kind of like this. It's going to be two pieces of brass, about close to a foot long, and maybe half an inch thick. And you're gonna have two of them. And you basically sandwich them together right here with I don't know, crazy glue or well, how do I say this? You separate them with an insulator right here, piece of wood, you know. You can just put a piece of wood here. Even let the wood come out a bit in between here, you know. You would have them sandwiched on top of an insulator. Could be plastic, something, you know. You could just tape them together with electrical tape, both the arms here, and then you could put a piece of wood to keep a gap, keep them from touching. And what's going to run this is an electromagnet with a core in it. And on the brass, brass is, I can't remember if it's magnetic or not. I don't think it is. No, brass is like zinc and copper, so it's not magnetic. But the idea was to put a magnet here, or I think it's best to put a magnet. And the reason being is I want to put a magnet on both sides here so that you don't need to put a spring here. You use magnets as your springs. Um, you could put the magnets on the brass, with a piece of wood coming out, glued to the brass. Just put a piece of wood on the, glue it to the brass on the top side of the brass. And you have like, or there could be, any type of material you want to use that's not conductive. Could be plastic, something firm that can stick real well to the brass with crazy glue or whatever, epoxy, or same thing over here. You have your piece of wood in between the two brass pieces, insulating them from each other, however you want to do that, and keeping a gap so that they never touch until you energize the electromagnet. And you're going to have your electromagnet's going to be positioned right underneath the magnets on the brass. Magnets are blue, so you have a insulating material glued to the brass rods, or they're like flat, rectangular, thin shaped rods, so they can act like a reed, have some flex to them. And you want them to be at least close to a foot long, so that you can put your piece of wood in here and create more firmness in the in the switching. The longer the piece is, the more you have work with it, and also the more surface area you have here. It's also about surface area. That's why I say, contact area. You know, you want as much of this to contact as possible with the other piece when it comes down. It's going to come down with the use of an electromagnet, and you'll just place the electromagnet right underneath here. The core will be right here. And you're going to have a magnet here, right there. Now remember, this is non-conductive material, so it won't block any EMF. And then you put another magnet on top of here, and um, you want the opposite fields facing each other, so that these two pieces of brass are they're I guess pulling towards each other already, right? Or no, wait, pushing away. You want them opposing. You want north and north. You want this magnet's north facing down, and that magnet's north facing up, so that they're always pushing away, and these two will never touch no matter what. And that way you can squeeze these. You can start wrapping string around here, tighten it up, and squeeze these two pieces down as tight as you can get it to where they're not touching, but really close. And then the tighter you make this area here, the more spring, the better the switch is. So that way, if you have a south field here, it doesn't matter, because you can just energize your electromagnet. You face it so that the south is coming. This is going to be a south, facing down, and the north is facing up in this magnet. So you would energize the core here would be a south, you know? If you want to do it another way, which is probably better to use the north, stronger pole, then you can do that. You can make you can do it the other way around. Make this south facing down, south facing up, and that's a north facing down. And then you energize your north right there. So you energize this coil with the north on the core, on this end of the core. The magnets that's stuck to your insulating material, that's then stuck to your reed on the back side of it, so that doesn't block the two pieces of brass from touching. And you got your insulating material on the top side here of this piece of brass, and then the bottom side of this piece of brass. You have a magnet epoxy to that insulating material, another magnet epoxy to this insulating material, and you have the south fields facing each other so that it keeps the plates from um, touching when you're off, when your circuit's off. Make sure it's just kind of like a guarantee that you don't accidentally have an on when you're requesting an off. So these two south fields will guarantee that they never touch until you energize your electromagnet with a north field here. And the same south that's facing up, its north is facing down. So your electromagnet will repel this north and push it up into contacting the reed. And then you could vary the frequency of your electromagnet here to run this reed at any frequency you want. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, a traditional reed, it's dependent on the pass of a magnet on a rotor. Well, this reed is also dependent on a magnetic field, but not a passing magnetic field, a stationary magnetic field that's controlled by an electromagnet. Just a quick one there for you guys, so my idea for a homemade reed. Let me try this another way. I'm getting lazy with this Photoshop. It's actually a free program, photo editor program called GIMP. It's GIMP. It's totally free. Works on Linux, works on Windows. And that's my presentation.